Next up in our lightning round is Mithra Ravichandran, a senior data scientist at Trane Technologies with over 8 years of experience across e-commerce, manufacturing, IT, and consulting. Mithra enjoys helping teams turn complex data into practical, meaningful insights. She also volunteers as head of education at Women in AI, where she works to create learning opportunities and to encourage more women to enter the field of data and AI. So thank you, Mithra.
Hi all. Today I'm going to present on the topic End Hunger and Malnutrition Through Data. So every night 700 million people go to bed without food. It's not the lack of food in the world, but because of the access to food and distribution. But the good news is that we are in the age of AI and we have like amazing tools, and the powerful tool right now we have is data and AI. So this session is not just going to be about hunger, but also about how data can be used with purpose. For the next few minutes, the journey is going to be like, I'm gonna share my impact on hunger and globally, and also how data can be helpful, and also like have like few case studies for you today to show the how data can be used in real life and the impact of data, and also gonna conclude by the challenges that we'll be facing when we implement it real time, and how can we be the change makers. So do you know what is the most important thing for survival? According to Maslow's hierarchy of law as well, food is one of the most important thing for survival. 1 in every 10 people go to bed, like without food, and around like 2.3 billion people suffer from moderate to severe hunger. And this trend has only been increasing ever since the pandemic, COVID-19. So UN's Sustainable Development Goals exactly focuses on this to end hunger, food security, and malnutrition. So let's see some facts about malnutrition. So malnutrition with children are likely to die 12 times more when compared to a healthy person. And when you see the chart on the left, so this chart is about like 20 to 25 years of data. So you can see that the color is changing from dark to light. So which is the darker means more share of children who are like malnutritioned. So we could see that there is like improvement, and which is like good, but I think there is a lot of scope for improvement. And the chart on the right, you could see that in 2019 to 2020, there is a slight improvement, slight increase in the people who are like malnutritioned, so which is actually not in a good shape. So by 2030, UN actually aims to eradicate hunger and malnutrition, and we are currently in 2025, so 5 years left more. So I think it's the right time we use data and AI to solve this problem. So data, when used with purpose, it can be like targeted. It can be like help us to make targeted solutions much faster and much smarter. So there are like a lot of different applications of AI. So one thing is increasing the crop yield, and then like selecting the right crops with high nutrition, which is called biofortification, and also like it can also be used for pest control and also like drought identification, and also to reduce the food waste, which is like supply chain optimization and inventory management. So this is one of the case studies to combat malnutrition. So in Switzerland, they identified that 30% of the people who are actually admitted in hospitals, and 50% of the people, elderly people who are admitted, were suffering from malnutrition just because they were not tracked about their nutrition. So an AI-based food tracker, when the food, it just scans the meal plate, and you could actually identify the nutrition balance in it, like how much proteins, or like it can identify. So by doing this, it actually enhances the nutrition monitoring and also reduce the stay of the patients in the hospitals, and also like faster recovery. And one third of the food that is being produced for consumption is going to waste, which is a very huge number, which is around like 1.3 billion tons of data every year. So let's see how can AI, be applied to this as well. So one example is in Switzerland, agricultural products like there were like huge waste, food waste when we do that. So agricultural products can be like more perishable products, right? Like so vegetables, fruits, and also like milk products. So it gets to get perished very easily. So by using an ML model, by optimizing the routes and also the inventory management, so they reduce like 20% of the food waste by faster delivering the products that are like very much perishable. And another example is the New York-based flavored yogurt company. Even though their yogurt was like really nice, they had over 10% of overproducing or underproducing. So when they built ML-based demand forecasting model, their overproduction was reduced by huge 40%, and they never went on short on supplies. So there are like a lot of things which can be done to reduce the food waste using AI. And the next one is, how can IoT sensors be used to improve the agricultural productivity? So IoT sensors can be anything from soil health, temperature, humidity, and even pH levels. So when you feed this data into the systems, and when you visualize and also create models out of it, necessary actions can be taken. So here is one case study. So building autonomous greenhouse. So when you feed the live IoT sensor data, and by building a reinforcement model, they were able to find that they were optimizing the greenhouse and also increasing the crop by 10% and also reducing the unwanted overuse of fertilizers. And this is my favorite one. So this is how AI can be used in monitoring food security during crisis. So I had a chance to connect with one of a crop data scientist who was working on on Ukraine's data actually. So during Ukraine war, there was no ground surveillance done. So basically, by using satellite images, they were able to differentiate crops that were in drought and the crops' health as well. So Ukraine, again, being the breadbasket of Europe, it exports to many other countries. So this identification of drought was very helpful for them to take the necessary steps for food shortage. So having said about a lot of applications of AI, but when we implement it in real time, I think the challenges comes. One of the main challenges the potential, the poor quality of data and not availability of data, that too at a farmer level. So data being the fuel of any model, I think the data is one of the biggest challenge, and limited infrastructure. So availability of internet or Wi-Fi is not available for everybody. And even if the infrastructure is good, integrating it with the AI is also a challenge. And again, when we come to data privacy and ethics and lack of trust when people like how they're using the data. So, and also not being open for adoption is also a challenge. And last but not the least, lack of technical expertise, like data science people who are working into sustainability is also a big challenge. So I'm a firm believer that change comes from within, be it anybody, like you being an engineer or a data science person or anybody, like everybody has a role. So I would recommend minimize food wastage. In developed countries, there's a stats that over 30% of the food that is being bought in home is actually going to waste. So please be mindful of the food that you use, and also please support the organizations that promote sustainability, like Too Good to Go and Food Cloud. And always buy from local farmers. So this will improve the food security, and always volunteer for donating. It may be monetary, but always not. It can also be like you organizing a food drive or in helping in distribution of foods. And if you're a data scientist like me, you can always collaborate with NGOs and government, and also like contribute for the open source food and agricultural projects. Last but not the least, advocate for policy change, like support and be vocal about the policies that is like related to sustainability. And I would like to end with a quote: data alone can't feed the world, but when used with purpose, it can end hunger. Thank you.